What's up, YouTube? This is Scuttle Knight coming at you with my very first video, and this is going to be a deck tech for Green Stompy. It's a modern deck tech. I hope you like it. I'm going to do a deck list first, and then after that I'll actually get into a little bit of how it works. Of course, if you play modern, you've probably heard of Green Stompy, but it's a great budget deck. I don't have a sideboard for it yet because I'm lazy. But starting off, we've got 29 creatures in the deck. There will be a play set of Experiment 1. Really good card. Then there will be a play set of Dryad Militant. Then 2 Scavenging Ooze. This is one of the most expensive cards in the deck, so that tells you how expensive the deck can actually get. Play set of Strangleroot Geist. Then we'll have a play set of Avatar of the Resolute. And I chose Garrick's Champion in my deck instead of the little 3/2 worm just because he's got trample. That's it. But he is double green. 3 of those. Then a play set of Leatherback Baloth. And then 3 Groundbreakers, which is basically a green version of Lightning Ball. And then 1 Surak the Hunt Caller. He's pretty good. If I had the card, I would put Thrawn the Last Troll in here, but unfortunately I don't have one. So those are the creatures in the deck. Then we've got 4 enchantments. And those 4 enchantments are a playset, sorry the bad lighting, of Rancor. Just gives what creatures don't have trample, and pumps them by 2. Then we've got 8 instants in the deck. We're going to run a play set of Vines of Vastwood, 3 Aspect of Hydra, 1 Fog. Most fogs mostly because the aggro meta for modern right now. It's always fun when someone goes all in and then you just, drop a 1-mana fog to have them say, who runs fog? 19 lands, 1 Oran Reef, and 18 basic forests. That's it. Mono green's the easiest thing to run. Now a little bit about this. Now I'm sure people have seen different variations of the deck. Thing you can't run without in any Green Stompy deck is definitely going to be the Vines of Vastwood. Self-explanatory. Then, the reason I chose Groundbreakers for the deck is because of the devotion. These are going to work very well, especially with, the Garrick's Champions, Baloths, Strangleroots, Avatar. Pretty much the whole deck is going to be amazing to swing in and then drop a devotion on, Groundbreaker. Be like, all you need is 4 mana, cast Groundbreaker, swing with Groundbreaker, which is already a 6/1 trample, and then just by himself he can become a 9/1 trample, which is, on turn 4 is still pretty powerful. And, not a whole lot of anything special to the deck. It does have a minor 1/1 theme. At one point I was trying to run Hardened Scales, but it became a card that if I didn't draw it at the beginning and I drew it late, it just wasn't good. It was powerful when you did have it, but it wasn't consistent enough. So, for those who don't know how to play the deck, the idea is that you'll have an Experiment 1. Dryad Militant. You want your 1-drops. Strangleroot Geists. Avatar of the Resolute. And those are the main cards of the deck. Everything else is kind of, what you want to put. The Leatherback Baloths and the Groundbreakers are mainly because I'm running the multiple aspects. I've seen a bunch of deck lists that don't run it or run 1 or 2. With the exception of Militant, these all run on +1/+1 counters. Now, Strangleroot Geist, when he dies, he comes back with a +1/+1 counter. So he goes from being a 2/1 with haste to, if he dies, he comes back as a 3/2 with haste. Another interesting interaction is going to be between Avatar the Resolute and Experiment 1. The way it works, well, you'll play Experiment 1, and then you'll play, turn 1, Forest, tap Experiment 1, play Experiment 1, sorry, and then turn 2 comes around, another Forest, and you'll play Avatar. Both effects will trigger at the same time. And you'll stack it so that Experiment 1's effect triggers first, and then Avatar's will trigger second. So they hit the field, both his effect for Evolve, which is anytime a creature with higher power or higher toughness comes into play, it can have the same of one, but as long as one of them is higher, either or is higher, he will get a +1/+1 counter. So, as you can see, Avatar the Resolute's a 3/2. So just Avatar coming in triggers him to get a +1/+1 counter. Now Avatar's ability, he has Reach, Trample. See if can't get it to focus. And when he enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter for each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it. So he enters the battlefield, triggering himself. You resolve him first, so that he gets a 1/1 counter, and then he'll search. His effect will search for another 1/1 counter on the field, and he'll find the one that just came in on him, and then he'll get a 1/1 counter too. So you'll end up with a 4/3 and then a 2/2 on turn 2. Another one that's really good is turn 2 dropping the Strangleroot Geist. Sorry about the glare, guys. I don't have a very good camera. I'm filming this off my Galaxy. Strangleroot Geist, turn 2 Strangleroot Geist, that'll just put a counter on him. And then if Strangleroot, they can both attack at the same time. If Strangleroot Geist dies, he'll come back as a 3/2, triggering Experiment 1 once again. And this is kind of the main idea of the deck with this and Rancor. Everything else is kind of just, what do you do to extra to play the deck? So you got Rancor, and basically all Rancor is doing is giving Experiment 1 Trample. Another card that's going to be in pretty much any green Stompy list is going to be Dryad Militant. Dryad Militant's just a good card. Turn 1 drop, still good if you don't have the Experiment. And he's a 2/1. And then he has the ability that if an instant or sorcery card will be put into the graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. This is very good, especially with Delve being a new powerful mechanic, and the new Eldritch Evolution deck that's running around Modern. I think it's going to be something big, so I might do a deck tech on that later. Alright, that's all I've got for today. Sorry if it's not the highest quality video, and it's my first one. So expect to see more. Expect to see more from me. I'm sorry, I have my daughter yelling at me in the background. You can expect to see more, but most of them might be done in the form of PowerPoints, where I just put a picture of a card up and explain why I would choose that and everything. And that's mostly because I don't have a whole lot of cards. I have these, and this is just probably $30 worth of cards. Alright. Good night, y'all. Like and subscribe. It helps a lot.